I'm Jennifer. On graduation day, amid cheers and confetti, my aunt pressed a gift into my hand, a $50,000 invoice charging me for my childhood. In that moment, memories snapped back. The vanilla-scented kitchen with Mom, her last 6 months with cancer, the end-of-hall bedroom at my aunt's house, the 7-minute shower rule, the Social Security envelope with my name that I never touched. 3 days later, a lawyer's letter arrived. They said, "Family is responsibility." I opened a drawer and pulled out the only thing stronger than accusation: records, bank statements, insurance papers, inheritance letters, nearly $190,000 that should have been for me. If anyone has ever turned kinship into debt, stay. Tonight we'll watch the hallway kid flip the script, from being charged to charging the truth. And the question is, will you choose to collect money or reclaim your life? I'm Jennifer, and if I had to name the thing that shaped me first, it's a tiny kitchen warm with vanilla and Mom's steady voice after long shifts. She didn't promise to change our lives. She just said, "Today I kept a little boy's breathing steady." That was enough. For a kid to learn the job can be small, but the value is big. Our 2-bedroom apartment had nothing fancy, but there was always room on the fridge for a worksheet pinned with fruit magnets. On my 10th birthday, Mom gave me a toy medical kit. I wore the plastic stethoscope and pressed it to her chest. "Listen," she smiled. "That's the sound of someone you love still here." It was the first time I understood why grown-ups, exhausted, still go back to the hospital. Some hearts need help keeping rhythm. Maybe you grew up like that too, never lavish, but warm enough to believe tomorrow could be kinder. Mom taught me to bake cookies, to hold a thermometer, and the most important thing, gratitude. When I complained about not having the right shoes, she said, "You don't need to be like them, you need to be like you." Sundays we fed ducks at the park. At night I did math at the kitchen table while she checked my work like a tough charge nurse. Write clearly, read closely, explain back. She didn't say discipline, she said self-respect. Those small habits, folding blankets, washing hands properly, keeping a first aid kit, quietly built a very specific dream. I wanted to be a nurse, the one who stands steady when a room panics and says one calm sentence people can hold on to. If you're still with me, do 3 simple things. 1. Think of the person who planted a seed in you, a habit, a sentence, a cheap gift that was priceless, and text them tonight. "Thank you. Because of that, I became me." 2. Write 1 caregiving skill you'll learn this week: basic first aid, taking a loved one's blood pressure, or simply a kinder clinical history. Start small, but start now. 3. Drop a comment. Who lit your first little lamp? Let's turn the comments into a catalog of kindness seeds. Mom used to say education is the one thing no one can take from you. I'll add the missing half. Gratitude, too. That's why I chose nursing, to pay it forward with my own hands. I was 13 the summer everything went quiet. First, Mom came home later, more tired. Then the weight loss, the cough, the appointments stacking up. The day she held the results, I didn't need to read the word cancer. I saw how she pinched the tote seam. 6 months, the doctor said. Mom said, "We won't count days, we'll use them." I swapped math homework for med charts, comics for a temperature log. Hospice nurses came, voices soft as whisper. I learned to lift, to steady, to bathe, to breathe deep when adults cried in the kitchen. On a still Tuesday, Mom squeezed my hand a long time and exhaled a tiny breath. It sounded like the tide going out. The kitchen that smelled of vanilla felt suddenly impossibly empty. The funeral was black clothes and she's in a better place. I only wanted her here. Aunt Sophie stepped in just when people needed someone to take charge. She held my shoulder in front of the relatives and said she'd take care of the girl, voice firm, coat perfectly pressed. Social workers met the family. Grandma was too old to take me. so I went with my aunt and uncle to a big house with white columns and ruler-straight lawn. In the car, she said, "Life will be better for you now." I nodded, clutching the backpack with Mom's folded letter. "Remember who you are. Storms will come, but you have the strength to walk through." My room was at the end of the hall, white walls, an old wooden bed, nothing on the walls. On the desk lay house rules. I read them like med instructions. Everything had a dose and a time. That first night, dinner was polite and measured. I said I wanted to be a nurse. She smiled. "Dreams are fine, but first learn properness." I listened and took note, telling myself this was a transition. In bed, I opened Mom's letter and whispered, "I'll be okay." The grief didn't sob anymore. It just lay there, heavy as a winter quilt. If you've lost someone and had to move under a strange roof, 3 things now. 1, keep a small object of your person, letter, pin, photo, to remind you of your roots. 2, write a list of 3 safe people you can call, teacher, neighbor, best friend. Tape it in your notebook. 3, leave a line in the comments for the one you miss. "I'm continuing." Those words won't bring them back, but they help you stand upright. I learned that my first night at Aunt Sophie's. When the world shifts, what keeps you steady is the right memory and the right people. At the new place, the white-columned house changed color by week 1. Aunt Sophie handed me house rules: 9:30 curfew, 7-minute showers, correct portions, a chore chart to the day. The last handwritten line: "From next month, $300 a month for room board, so you learn responsibility." I was 13, then 14. No conversation about ability to pay. No, if it's hard, we'll figure it out. Meanwhile, Cousin Cassidy got a laptop backpack, gym pass, dance classes. I got a plastic folder, cheap notebooks, bulk pens. When I asked about braces for crowded teeth, cosmetics are a luxury. At dinner, I washed dishes, more than usual because Cassidy's friends stayed. "Everyone contributes," my aunt said, but everyone seemed to mean me. Nothing was loud. It dripped like a leaky tap, steady, cold, wearing down. She called it teaching properness, but it felt like measuring my spoonfuls. I asked to join the science club. She flipped to Tuesday. "You mop the kitchen." I suggested trading shifts. She said, "Don't be demanding." When Cassidy missed chores, the chart went blank. When I missed, red note, irresponsible. When I got a bakery job to be independent, she praised me, then held out her hand. "This month's room rent." I learned to go quiet, count cash, pay up. Every protest made the rulebook thicker. The night I took an extra piece of chicken after track, she smiled. "Groceries are up because of you." I went back to my end hall room, stared at white walls, and missed Mom's vanilla kitchen. I folded my blanket razor flat, not because I love neatness, but because it was the one thing I could still control. If these signs show up in your house or a friend's, 3 practical moves. 1, list 3 markers of financial manipulation you're seeing: vague room board, food limits as punishment, chores used to justify inequity. Naming stops self-blame. 2, create a contribution ledger, paper/Google Sheet, date, amount, reason, who requested. Save texts, photos of rules. Documentation isn't war, it protects truth. 3, draw a safety circle. 1 trusted adult, teacher, counselor. 1 safe place, library, school. 1 strength-building activity, club, healthy part-time job. Comment if you need a tracker template. I'll share. Discipline should lift. It should never tighten the noose. When rules become zip ties, the first step is naming them. You don't have to name them alone. One night, scrubbing a lemon-scented sink, Aunt Sophie's wallet slipped off the shelf. Papers fanned out, including an envelope with the eagle of the Social Security Administration. Title: Survivor Benefits Payment. Beneficiary: Jennifer. Representative Payee: Sophie. I didn't need the details to see my name. The monthly figure sat bold in the middle, large enough that "we're carrying you" suddenly rang differently. If this had arrived for years, what exactly was my room board paying? Why the hand-me-down clothes, no braces, all the limits. The next night I went to Uncle Jack's office for a stapler. A file labeled Jennifer sat neatly. Inside, bank statements with regular SSA deposits, a letter confirming life insurance payout in my mother's name, and a note about a small inheritance from my grandparents. My pulse roared in my ears. I wasn't eating too much or driving up utilities. Money meant for me had flowed elsewhere. My hands shaking, I photographed each page, emailed copies to myself and Miss Spay Jackson with the subject, "For record only." I printed them next morning and stashed them in a school library locker. From then on, I kept a timeline. Dates I was charged, her exact words, bills I paid myself, every new rule. Outwardly, I said, "Yes, ma'am," washed dishes, made curfew. Inside, I stopped blaming myself. Gaslighting grinds your teeth. Numbers gave me something firm to bite. And I didn't want to beat anyone. I wanted truth to have a seat when needed. If this is you, do 3 things this week. 1. Name the money. Learn the terms where you live. Survivor benefits, representative payee, life insurance, minor trust, inheritance. Write which funds are yours, who may manage them, their purpose. 2. Document. Build a timeline, date, event, amount, evidence. Scan, photograph, email to a private account, store a copy outside the house, library, locker. Don't argue without a file. Let paper speak. 3. Safety net. 1 trusted adult, teacher, counselor, school nurse. 1 legal aid clinic. 1 friend who knows everything. Avoid solo confrontations at home if risky. Prioritize safety. Need a timeline or benefits checklist. Comment checklist. Discipline grows people. Control shrinks them. The difference is transparency and intent. My turning point wasn't lightning. It was steady rain named Miss Jackson. The day I missed the bus, she drove me and asked the questions adults dodge. Who are you becoming? What does your evidence say? When I brought photos of benefit papers, she didn't panic. She opened a notebook, drew columns, and turned chaos into a case file. Date, event, evidence, impact. Then a new page. Now scholarships, you can't stay here forever, we'll build a legal exit and a future. We made a scholarship matrix on graph paper. Award name, criteria, deadline, essays, recommenders, odds, notes. Every lunch she checked me like a charge nurse checks the med board. This essay lacks a case. Add weekend hospital volunteering, 1 example, 1 result, 1 lesson. She taught STAR, situation, task, action, result. Don't glamorize hardship. Bring metrics and behavior. I volunteered in geriatrics, learned vitals, talked, journaled. Nights, I revised each paragraph to a breathing rhythm. Why nursing, what I bring to the room, how I measure impact. She had me draft a brag sheet for recommenders, 5 measurable bullets, GPA, volunteer hours, roles, 3 mini stories, grit, calm, ethics of care, and 1, why nursing chose me. I trembled emailing requests. She gave me a template, clear subject, deadline, links, genuine thanks. For scholarship interviews, she played the panel and pressed me on ethics, boundaries, and emotional regulation for high acuity cases. First time I stammered. By the 3rd, I learned to pause 2 breaths before answering, just like that plastic stethoscope on Mom's chest. Deadlines lined up like night shifts. I applied to state U, local nursing funds, hospital guilds. Some rejections, some round 2, send more. Then one afternoon, the thick envelope, full ride for nursing, tuition, housing, books. I hugged the dorm stairwell and laughed for the first time in months. Miss Jackson didn't throw confetti. She said, "Tomorrow, file copies with your counselor and off-site." And tonight, Celebrate by sleeping. If you're here now, 3 do-it-nows. 1. Build a 10-target scholarship matrix. Start with in-state publics and profession-specific funds. 2. Draft 2 base essays. Why nursing and resilience in care. Ready to customize. Include one number, hours, grade lift, patient outcome. 3. Prep a brag sheet plus email template. Schedule asks 3+ weeks before deadlines. Escape isn't just leaving a house. It's entering a profession with clean paperwork, clear proof, and adults beside you. Graduation began sunny and ended with a cold envelope. Gown straight, photos with friends. Then Aunt Sophie arrived. Proud family smile. She pressed a thick envelope. Gift, open it. Inside wasn't a card but a line-item invoice on her letterhead. Costs of raising Jennifer, 2012 to 2017. Room board, clothing, medical, miscellaneous. Total $50,000 circled in red. She whispered, blade sharp, now that you work, it's time to repay. The cheers around me felt like they were in another atmosphere. My documented numbers flashed. Survivor benefits, life insurance, inheritance, money meant for me. This wasn't a gift. It was a timed blow for when I'd be soft. 3 days later, a demand letter from a law firm hit my new apartment. Set a payment plan within 30 days or they'd take legal action. Not kitchen sniping, not dinner shaming, an attempt to legalize turning kinship into debt. I shook, but this time I had files and a trusted adult. I called Miss Jackson first. She spoke slow. Don't respond yet. No verbal deals. We'll handle this in writing with evidence. If you face a family invoice or lawyer letter, here are 3 rapid steps I wish I'd had. 1. Freeze reflex. Don't call back angry, don't send long explanations. Use strategic silence to avoid admitting debt. Reply in writing after counsel. 2. Raise a legal shield, find legal aid, send everything. The demand, the envelope, keep postmark, all proof of SSA, insurance, inheritance, and your timeline. Ask 2 things. 1. A guardian's fiduciary duty over those funds. 2. Whether a child owes reimbursement for basic care. 3. Standardize communication. If you must reply, send a request for documentation, legal basis. Provide all original receipts, the legal basis for reimbursement, and an accounting of funds designated for my benefit, SSA, insurance, inheritance, for dates. Send by email plus certified mail. Keep receipts. 2 extras. No private meetings to just talk. Keep a paper trail. Set a reminder well before the 30-day mark, so you lead, not chase. That day, Aunt Sophie thought I only knew how to fold blankets flat. I'd learned to fold something else. Boundaries, straight, clear, no creases. Walking into county court felt like an OR, cold light, echoing steps, precision required. Across the hall sat Aunt Sophie, Uncle Jack, Cassidy, and their lawyer. Cream suit, model citizen smile. I sat with Marcus, my attorney, David and Jasmine beside me. Marcus murmured, no arguing. Let the file speak. I gripped Mom's pearl earrings and breathed like with a pediatric patient, slow, even. Their lawyer opened like a speech. Sophie sacrificed, took in, financial burden, then waved the $50,000 invoice like an award. Marcus's voice didn't rise, it anchored. This case isn't reimbursement, it's fiduciary responsibility over survivor benefits, life insurance, and inheritance designated for Jennifer. He unwrapped layers like removing dressings, bank statements with SSA deposits $1,235 a month, confirmation of a $65,000 life insurance, $15,000 inheritance, roughly $190,000 over 5 years. If these funds were for Jennifer, he asked, why was she charged room board, denied braces, dressed in cast-offs? Where's the trust? Objections flew. Judge Woodson lifted her glasses. I want documents. When I testified, Marcus asked only for dated facts: times I paid rent, thickening rules, finding the file in Uncle Jack's office, emailing Ms. Jackson. No dramatics, no motives, just facts. After a short recess, the judge reviewed, then removed her glasses, voice crisp as an order. The court dismisses Sophie Marshall's claim with prejudice. Funds designated for Jennifer's benefit were not used appropriately. This is referred to the district attorney for potential benefit abuse and breach of fiduciary duty. The room murmured. I didn't feel triumph, just balance restored. Truth had numbers, and today the numbers stood by me. If you must walk this path, 3 practical things. 1. Standardize your packet. A timeline, date, event, amount, evidence, relevant bank statements, SSA, insurance, inheritance letters, all texts/invoices, printed and paginated. 2. Court speaks paper numbers. Answer with events, not emotions. Avoid guessing motives. Useful line. Per doc on page X, item Y on date Z. 3. Post-ruling boundaries. No hallway handshake deals. Route everything through counsel/email with acknowledgments. If the court notes a civil recovery option, weigh cost, time/mental health. That day, I learned a new definition of kindness. Kindness has boundaries, and those boundaries are drawn with verifiable truth. After the ruling, the real question wasn't how to win more, but how do I want to live? Marcus said plainly, you can sue civilly to recover. I sat in my small living room, hands around warm tea, watching lamplight spread on the wall. I thought about my first PICU shift, a child straining under a mask, David's sapphire ring, Mom's letter. Storms will come, but you can walk through. Suing meant months of files, interrogatories, reopening wounds. I might win money and lose living time. I didn't forgive Sophie. I refused to let the past keep charging interest. I chose closure. Marcus nodded. That's also a win, self-determination. I sent a brief email for the record. At this time, I'm not pursuing civil recovery, rights reserved within the statute of limitations. I closed the laptop, stepped onto the balcony, breathed. No fireworks, no anthem, just a quiet where I put down a weight someone else kept trying to hang on me. That night, Jasmine brought banana bread. David washed. I wiped the table. Ordinary gestures became a ritual into a new chapter, one not defined by anyone's invoice. If you're deciding between collect money and protect peace, 3 practical steps. 1. A 2x3 decision matrix. Columns recover versus close, rows time, mental health, finances, fill in numbers, hours, fees, lost income, and effects, sleep loss, triggers, conflict risk. Don't just feel, measure. 2. Set a mental budget for 90 days. XHR's work, YHR's self-care, ZCare's legal, if any. If it overflows capacity, prioritize healing. Like on a plane, put on your oxygen mask first. 3. Lock boundaries in writing. Send. All communication via email. No in-person meetings. I have nothing to add beyond filings. Print it and tape by your desk. 2 carry lines. Not acting is still an action if intentional and recorded. 2. Closure doesn't erase the past. It revokes its license to drive your future. That night, I set Mom's pearls in a box, turned off the light, and slept the deepest since court. Morning back to the PCU, where breaths are counted by the present, not by someone else's red ink math. Day 1 in the PCU felt like stepping into an orchestra where every beep has purpose. Kids don't hide much. Pain cries, fear clings. I learned the unit's rhythm, low battery chirps, ventilator whoosh, physicians calling orders. On my first shift, I labeled every line, logged every milliliter, and proved Mom right. Sometimes care isn't curing, it's being there exactly when needed. I was there to say I'm right here to a boy, to hold a mother's hand at a consent form. Under cold lights, I found warmth in small rituals. Combing hair before visiting hours, folding blankets flat, setting a teddy on the right side. Those tiny acts pinned me to the present, where the past no longer commands. David proposed with his grandmother's sapphire, and we married in a small garden with the few who'd stood beside me from the start. Miss Jackson, the Parkers, Mrs. Garcia from the bakery. I call them my chosen family, not bound by blood but by principles. Respect, clarity, kindness, no long speeches, just a line on our thank you notes. Thank you for believing I'm not an expense but a person. Swaying to a slow song, I realized I'd crossed a threshold, from surviving to living with one person, with one community. If you're starting a new chapter, work, love, network, here are 3 anchors. 1. Design micro-rituals for your workday. 3 repeats that calm you, e.g. fixed order equipment check, 3 lines of what I control, 5 deep breaths before hard rooms. Rituals aren't superstition, they're neural anchors. 2. Map your chosen family. 3 circles. Core, 2-3 you can call at 2 a.m. Support, 5 to 7 for advice, connections, community, profession group, faith, club. Add names, numbers, roles, so when storms hit, you don't grope in the dark. 3. Write relationship boundaries. Between you and your partner, put 5 in writing. Money handling, transparent, joint, individual, self-care schedules, fight rules, no contempt, allow timeouts. Extended family contacts, who replies, limits, and an SOS signal when one of you is overloaded. Not legal. Behavioral commitments. I still wear Mom's pearls on hard shifts, a warm punctuation mark in a complicated sentence. In the PICU, I learn daily that love needs skill, and skill needs kind discipline. Chosen families aren't luck. They're chosen repeatedly, to respect, to be clear, to show up when the beeps speed up. Mid-shift, an email from Hospital Resource Services popped up. An anonymous donor has created a $50,000 nursing scholarship in the name of Amanda. I read it 3 times. Mom's name. The attachment showed the goal: support nursing students from single-parent, kin-guardian homes. No speeches required, no donor plaque. 1 line: recipient invited to serve on selection committee. Legal later confirmed the donor was Uncle Jack. Feelings collided: relief, suspicion, gratitude, an old ache. I don't need lessons in unconditional forgiveness. I need accountability paired with repair. That night I called him. He was brief. I can't get back the years I stood silent. At least the money someone tried to pull from you will become a door for someone else. I was brief too. Thanks for putting the money right. The rest, time will tell. I joined the committee with 3 written conditions. 1. Transparent criteria. Priority for students from single-parent or kin-guardian homes. Solid GPA, but no hardship scrubbing. Evidence of caregiving community contribution. 2. Independent governance, hospital-managed fund, annual reports, no individual can sway selections. 3. No strings. Recipients owe no access, only to complete their program and optionally join 1 community event. Approved. I sat with applications, familiar scents, bills, shifts, teacher letters. I read slowly, thought of Mom, and chose by what the PICU taught me: right resource, right person, right time. If you're turning pain into concrete good, 3 practical steps. 1. 1-sentence impact target. Each year, support X learners from Y background to pursue Z. Specify numbers, awards amounts, scope, school, local, criteria, context plus effort. Clarity sharpens action. 2. Park funds with a trusted steward, hospital foundation, university fund, audited nonprofit, get written selection process, annual reporting, donor rights, limits. Money needs a mechanism, not a mood. 3. Separate amends from control. If the donor is in the story, sign a no interference agreement. No influence on pics, no recipient publicity without consent, all contact via the organization. Real repair returns power. On announcement night, I pinned Mom's pearls to my scrub top. Not to forget the past, but to remember this. Money once misused can be rerouted. If we write process, sign boundaries, and let paperwork lead. After court, I thought one long sleep would fix it. No. The body rests, the nervous system stays on alert. A pipe knock felt like a debt collector's knock. Dish soap smelled like Aunt Sophie's kitchen. I found Dr. Lynn, family trauma therapist. Session 1, no glitter. What happened wasn't your fault. Surviving isn't the same as healing. We worked small triggers, smells, sounds, invoices, signatures, and practiced grounding. Name 5 things you see, 4 you touch, 3 sounds, 2 smells, 1 taste. I breathed the 4-4-4-4 box, like pacing a child's breaths. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 4, rest 4. Not to be stronger, but to be present in my own life. I redrew my family map by behavior, not blood. Who makes me feel safe at 2 a.m., who is financially honest, who respects boundaries. That list led me to hospital programs for kin-guarded kids. The first time I met a girl hugging her backpack like armor, I saw what I had lacked, an adult on my side with no strings. I didn't preach, I taught specifics, saving proof, applying for meal waivers, writing firm, polite emails. We formed a small group, put money where it belongs, sharing weekly tips from club fee waivers to emergency scholarship asks. If you're at must live on, can't live braced, 3 real steps. 1. Schedule healing like shifts. Set 3 20-minute blocks week for therapy or structured self-care. Journal prompts. What happened? What I feel? What I need now? Put it on the calendar with alerts. No time? Do 3 by 5 minutes of breathing/grounding after meals. 2. Personal trigger counter move kit. 2 columns. Trigger, smell, sound, text, and counter. 90-second pause. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. SOS keyword to a core person. Keep a copy in wallet, phone. The goal isn't to avoid triggers forever, but to have a short exit ramp. 3. Give in right doses, right places. Pick 1 role: scholarship mentor, aid process guide, soft skills coach. Set time boundaries up front, e.g. 2 HRs month via org, no DMs after 9 p.m. Give without barter, but guard your oxygen, PICU rules. Some days I still startle. The difference is I have tools. Some shifts are heavy. The difference is I'm not alone. Healing doesn't erase the past. It returns the steering wheel. When I tell kids I was the end of hall girl, they look up. They learn that door does open when someone stands there, flips on the light, and keeps it open as they pass. If I had to wrap it in one line, your worth isn't in someone's self-printed ledger. It's in how you live, love, and own your responsibilities to yourself and others. Some wield family like an invoice. Every meal, every shirt turned into debt. But kinship isn't a spreadsheet. It requires transparency, boundaries, and fiduciary duty when you hold power for the vulnerable. Without those, it isn't discipline. It's control, and control doesn't grow anyone. I learned gratitude isn't endless endurance. Gratitude honors what's right. Boundaries protect it from being mixed with what's wrong. I'm grateful to those who opened a door when we were grieving. I also set boundaries with the person who leveraged that help to justify embezzlement. 2 things can be true. I won't self-immolate with resentment. I also won't be silent, so wrongdoing can wear the mask of sacrifice. I learned kindness needs skill. documenting truth, seeking help in the right places, saying no without drama. The PICU taught me, right resource, right person, right time. Life's the same. Benefits for children should serve children. Support must come with accountability. And family has two words, given and chosen. You don't choose where you're born, you do choose who walks with you. If this resonates, 3 action steps. 1. Write a 150-word personal value statement with 3 pillars: self-respect, money transparency, healthy boundaries. Print it where you'll see it. When a request makes you feel like a line item, read it before replying. 2. 3-layer boundary kit. Layer 1, polite. I only discuss money matters in writing. Layer 2, firm. This requires documentation. I'll respond when it's provided. Layer 3, protective. I'll proceed via counsel organization, no in-person meetings. Practice out loud daily like reps. 3. Chosen family. Board. List 3 groups. Core, 2 a.m., calls. Support, mentors, legal, financial. Nourish, friends, profession groups, community. Names, numbers, roles. In crisis, act by role, not by rush. If someone ever reduced you to a cost, remember, you're not a liability. You're a person. People get to learn, love, heal, and build. Leave 1 line for yourself below, I choose, and begin the next chapter in your handwriting, not in someone else's red ink.